Hello everyone. If you are a beginner in drawing, real beginner, and you haven't done any drawing before and you wonder how to start drawing, how to start learning to draw, how to draw an object, like you see an object, you see a glass, you see like a car or a building, and you wonder really how people can do that and where to start, and if I want to draw it or try to drawing it, so where should I start, how can I start, where should I start, so in my page, like should I start from the top, should I start from the bottom, should I start from the center, maybe should I start with the hard lines or light lines, and so on. So if you wonder all of that, this session, this video, and not only this video but also like the upcoming next videos are going to be for you, and it's gonna help you actually figuring out how to start my first drawing if you are a really beginner, or maybe if you are an artist, an advanced artist. Yeah, this video I believe is also going to be beneficial for you, because artists learn from each other, and even me, like I have spent way too many years doing art and drawings, and even though I still have to learn, I still learn in daily basis or weekly basis and so on, because drawing and growing as an artist is just about learning and gaining more and more information. So long story short, let's take an example. Yeah, so if we take, like, for example, I just prepared, I'm not gonna use my drawings for today as an example, but I'm gonna use maybe some images from internet, okay, which are going to be helpful to really start with your very first drawing. So let's say, as you see here, I completely randomly went to Google and just typed drawing object, yeah, like anything, and as you see, I got a bunch of really nice and not nice looking objects that we can try to draw. And one image caught my eye, actually this one. So maybe we can start to draw this image, not all of these objects, but maybe let's take, for example, the lamp. Okay, the lamp is very simple object and not so complicated, so it's gonna be very good example, I would say, to take for our today's lesson. So let me just arrange my table here a little bit. Here we go. So let's say we want to start with this lamp. Okay, so the first thing you wanna learn here is every object that exists. Yeah, you can actually simplify it, or make it simple, simplify it, sorry, and make it simple into through the three main shapes. The three main shapes are actually circle and rectangle or square and triangle. So believe it or not, every object that exists, you can actually, or is structured from these three types. Not only these three, but actually the extension of these shapes, like for example, not necessarily a circle or a sphere, sorry, it could be an oval, like this way. And this square, it shouldn't necessarily be a square, but actually it could be like a rectangle. Yeah, and this triangle, it could be also like this way. You got the point, right? So for example, let's try to reflect that into our lamp. So the first object that I wanna, or the first part of this lamp that I wanna draw is actually, we can start from the top or the bottom. Both ways are okay, but most important is actually you have to define the proportions of your lamp, like for example, where it starts, or where it ends. So it's gonna be really helpful to start with two very simple lines, like to define where it starts, for example, this point, and the higher point, the upper point, where it actually ends, like this way. So now we have 2 points, as you see. And as you see, the lamp is actually kind of symmetrical, right? So if you like cut the half, the second half is going to be exactly the same. So it's kind of symmetrical, which actually means for us, we can draw a line here, very simple line. And this is going to be actually this line, which is the middle, middle of our lamp. So now we can actually define the proportions. So for example, this lamp head, it ends here. So we can actually now put a very simple line. So the lamp head starts here and ends here. And actually the main body of the lamp starts here and ends here. Now I know my proportions are actually accurate and correct. Now I can move on to actually put a line here in the middle, which actually gonna be this line. Yeah, so it means the width of the headlamp is gonna be from this point to this point. So if I put my point here, it's not going to be accurate because it's way too big, you know. So that's why it's very important to always keep eye on your lamp. You cannot just stay focused on your paper where you are doing your drawing and completely forget your object. You're gonna have to keep constantly looking at your object, like 1 second here, 1 second here, or 3 seconds here, 3 seconds here. Okay, you have to analyze it and move gradually to assure that your proportion are accurate and still accurate. This is the most important point. Yeah, here we go. So now we have these 2 points which actually define the width of the lamp. Now I can draw an oval. Do you see this oval? It actually matches what we said here. Every object that we want to draw, you can actually restructure it or make it simple to break it down into these shapes. So now if I draw an oval like here, see, sorry, I misdrew here, it's okay. So now we have actually the bottom of this oval, and we have a smaller oval right here, as you see. So if I draw a smaller oval now we have the top and the bottom part. And if I simply now connect these two together, as you see, we got actually the lamp head. See? And we have also this line, and this is small sphere. So now we have actually the first part of the lamp already. So now we have the neck of the lamp, which is very small. We can draw it like this. Yeah, so this line is not going to be visible. Why? Because this actually sits on the back side of the lamp. That's why it's not going to be visible. We can maybe just reduce it a little bit. By the way, if you wonder what kind of tools and pencils that I use here, I made a video a few weeks ago about the tools and most affordable tools that I use actually for my drawings. I'm gonna link that video into this video in the section below. Yeah, so feel free to check it out. Yeah, so this is the bottom part of the lamp, and this is the neck. And moving on, we also have to draw the body. So the body is gonna be here as we defined already. So the body part is gonna be right here. So as you see, if we break down the body part of the lamp, it's gonna be an oval, second oval, and you connect these together. Actually, we have a third oval right here. So 1, 2, and 3. So let's try to reflect that here. So we have an oval, a bigger oval. As you see, this is the first one and this is the second one. So if I connect these together now, I actually got the bottom part of the body. And now we have a little bit bigger oval right here. It's gonna be something like that. If you feel it's big or small and not big enough, you can always erase it and modify it. So now if I now connect these two together, now I actually got the bottom part of the body, and now we need smaller oval and even smaller oval, which is this one and this one. Now if we connect these together, all together, as you see, I'm just connecting the points or the dots together, which gives me now the shape of the body. So if you feel that it's too big or too small, you can always erase it and adjust it a little bit. Here we go. So as you see here, also they did also a little bit of shading here. About shading, I'm not gonna cover it in this in this video, because as I said, this video is gonna be like kind of like a session of, or one video of severals that I'm gonna do afterwards, especially for very beginners in drawing or at drawing, who wants to draw anything and try to draw like simple objects like this. Okay, so regarding shading, if you wonder about shading, I have done like 2 or maybe 3 videos about shadings. They are a little bit advanced, and one video is actually for beginners, so feel free to check it out in my YouTube channel. Yeah, I believe I covered pretty much good, and of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the section below or in the comment section below. So as you see, now we have our lamp. Yeah, so let's try to maybe draw another object. Another object will be this image is actually good. A little bit of details. Let's pick maybe a little bit simpler one. For example, we can actually take, I don't want to make it complicated in this session, so let's keep it simple. Okay, so let's try to maybe too many options here, as you see. Here we go. Let's take this lamp. Okay, this lamp is good and not very complicated, I would say. Sorry. Here we go. Now we have it. So the lamp actually sits right like here. So it's very important when you see like the object is placed on the ground or wherever in a kind of unique position like this one. Like for example, this lamp is sitting on the ground in a very simple way, but this lamp is actually kind of like has a certain angle, so it's not like completely horizontal, but actually it's a little bit rotated. So this is very important. Why? Because when I want to draw the line in the middle line, it's gonna be this way. It's not gonna be like the lamp this way. This is very important because proportions are very important. So if your proportions are correct from the very beginning of your drawing, then your drawing is gonna be actually accurate and it's gonna be much better. Because if you have a wrong proportions from the very beginning, and you start already shading and you have all of these details, it's gonna be very complex and very complicated to actually revert back or go back to what you did and fix everything, because it's gonna look messy, right? That's why proportion needs to be really accurate from the very beginning. Okay, so let's try to make it simple here. So let me move my pencils a little bit. Here we go. So As I said, the middle line of the lamp is very important. So if I draw point here and point here, I get this kind of actually rotated line. So let's try to do that here. So we have the top part of the lamp and we have the bottom part of the lamp, as you see. So if I connect these together now, I actually got something very similar to this lamp. So the biggest, now we can actually break down the lamp into these shapes, as we said. Yeah. So the biggest part of the lamp, I start with the biggest, because when you start with the biggest part and you go lower or you go down to the smallest, as we did here, we start with the lamp head. I didn't start with this very teeny tiny object. No, I start with the biggest and I went back to the smallest, because so you start from the biggest and you go down to the smallest. Because why? There's a very, very obvious reason. If your biggest part proportion is correct and accurate, it means going down to the smallest is going to be accurate as well, because the biggest is accurate. Logically speaking, it's going to be accurate and it's going to be correct. And that's why I recommend you to actually start with the biggest thing or the biggest part of your object that you see. And going back to our lamp, the biggest object or the biggest part of our object that I see is actually this way, this part. This is the biggest and this is the smallest. That's why I actually start with this part, and if I break it down to this shape, I actually see sphere here. It's a very, very circular sphere. So now we put a line here. Why? Because it's important to actually keep in mind where the neck of the lamp starts and ends. So it means this line approximately, and if I want to draw now a circle like this, yeah, I got actually the first shape. And the second shape is actually, if I break it down, ignoring this part, okay? Oh, sorry. Ignoring this part is going to be actually rectangle. So if I want to now draw a rectangle like this, now I broke down the lamp into very, very simple two shapes, rectangle and lamp. Now I can add even more details, which is actually two ovals. The first one and the second one. And if I connect these together, I got this shape. And as you see here, this, now I can dive into adding more details into our lamp. This is actually a rectangle shape, but these are ovals because actually the lamp goes this way. So it means if I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 ovals, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As you see, we actually got these oval shape cylinder or rectangle light. So if I now connect these together, see, we actually got what we need. This is the main part of the lamp. And now, as you see, we have a very strong angle here, or a corner. And in our lamp, it's not that strong, so it needs to be softer, which means now I can adjust my shape by adding this very soft line and this soft line. Here we go. And now we actually got, we just reduce this one. It's too many, right? So we can reduce one. Let's say here. Yeah, this is more accurate. Here we go. I can make my lines a little bit darker or stronger. And as you see, now we actually have our lamps. and the proportions are accurate, and it's kind of like very similar size. If you feel that the neck is way too small, you can always adjust the shape, because I still feel it's just too narrow, right? So maybe I can make it a little bit wider or bigger, like this way, just tiny bit. But as you see, adjusting the shape now is easy and not complicated. Why? Because, as I said previously, because the proportions are accurate, and that's why adjusting the shape gets much more easier. Here we go, and now we have our lamp. And let's try to draw also this this simple object, also this small wires inside. So we don't have to actually 100% draw it accurately, so we can draw like this, 2 lines here, 2 lines as well. Here we go. And we can also do this line. You don't have to 100% do these details as I'm doing. For you, it's gonna be really helpful if you try to draw the lamp and you get the shape accurate, and that's actually it. As a beginner, this is way more than enough, in my opinion. Here we go. So as you see, now we have our lamp. And the proportions are accurate, the size is kind of like similar, the scale is correct, and so on. We will not start shading it, because this session again is not about shading. It's just about start drawing and how to start drawing, and the very fundamental rules about drawing. So this is our video for today. You got the idea, you got how it works. And of course, this video is gonna be the first video of several that I'm gonna cover this topic, so how to draw anything. And feel free to check it out, and maybe you can draw the same objects or different objects. It's up to you, of course. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Have fun, enjoy it, try it out. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.